Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 11 in the National Football League, recapping all the games. This one, I got a lot to talk about here. The Oakland Raiders traveling to Houston to take on the Texans in what I dubbed my sole survivor pick of the week. Essentially what that means, it's a lock. Go ahead and book it, pencil it in, whatever you want to call it. It's going to go down. It's going to happen. And I said the Texans, despite a 7-game losing streak, despite their struggles this season, despite the Raiders having a better record than the Texans this year, we're going to win this game. Don't you worry your pretty little head. And I had lost the prior week, and I have never lost 2 consecutive sole survivor picks in a row. So this one, you can take it to the bank. At least that's what I thought. The Raiders weren't going to have Terrell Pryor, and they were starting, Matt McGloin? Who's this guy? No way they win on the road against a solid Texans defense. But I did forget to mention one thing. Good old Gary Kubiak was back. And this guy's a joke. And we'll get to him in a second. Let's break this game down, though, and talk about how the 4-5 Oakland Raiders look to get back to 500 on the season against the 2-7 Houston Texans. So, this is a big game for many reasons. If you're the Raiders, this thing right here, not the 4-5 Raiders, the 3-6 Raiders. Sorry, don't want to give them extra hope. Nice. So, if you're the Raiders, you're looking to try to inch back this wild card, this 6th and final wild card spot. Because we already know 5 of the spots in the AFC all accounted for. Okay? All your divisional winners, I won't say they're etched in stone, but for the most part, you know who they're going to be. Okay? Patriots going to win the East. The North is probably going to be won by Cincinnati. The South is probably going to be Indianapolis. And the West is either going to be, and that's the one you don't know, the Chiefs or the Broncos. But whoever doesn't win the West is going to get that 5th playoff spot, that first wild card berth. So we essentially know how the dominoes are going to fall in the AFC. Who's going to get that 6th and final playoff berth and that 2nd and final wild card berth? That's the question. And if you're the Raiders, hey, don't count us out. A win here on the road versus the Texans, and you're right back in the thick of things in that wacky AFC wildcard race. So, huge for the Raiders. If you're the Texans, you're just trying to save face here. You're just trying to bring a level of respectability back to the Texans' name, because right now, you're a joke. You're a walking joke. And much like the Falcons, and I said those 2 teams remind me of each other. They're eerily similar. One in the AFC, one in the NFC, but they're the same. They're one and the same. Both teams who played some extremely good football, dominated their conferences for a majority of the season, now among the worst teams in their respective conferences. So you're just trying to save face now. Beating the Raiders will help you snap that egregious 7-game losing streak that you're on, and it'll gain some confidence among players in the locker room. Winning cures all. And right now, this locker room is starting to stink with the stench of losing. And guys are starting to be frustrated because when you're used to winning and you start losing, some people don't know how to take it. So let's break this thing on down. Garrett Graham stripped and fumbles the football, recovered by Phillip Adams, who has an excellent return into Houston territory, into their red zone, which leads to a 5-yard touchdown pass from Matt McGloin to Denarius Moore at 7-0. All right, that's luck. He threw a 5-yard slant on a rub route on 3rd down, clutch throw. That's luck. It happens. Guys step in, just like baseball. You don't know. You've never seen this pitcher before. He comes in, starts throwing some strikes, strikes some guys out, has a good performance. It happens. You don't know the guy. Comes in, starts tossing the ball around. You don't have any film on this guy. Lucky is what that is, okay? So, Raiders up 7-0. Bad turnover by Garrett Graham. You're getting a 1st down, big gain, and you let the ball come out. And the one thing you don't want to give the Raiders on the road is confidence. You're lacking in confidence yourself. No need to give it away. the little bit that you do have to the Raiders, which is what you did on this opening possession. It's 7-0. Raiders gaining confidence now as well. Nick Roach picks off Case Keenum, leads to a McGloin to Streeter touchdown, and the very next play is 14-0. Wait a minute. McGloin to Streeter? McGloin on the next play? Touchdown strike? On a beautiful throw on a post route? Something's fishy here. Where this guy come from? Hey, we'll save that for later. But that Nick Roach pick, huge. Gets you the football back in Texans territory, deep in Texans territory. But what that pick for me signified in this game, the pressure that they were putting on Case. Case Keenum has been under duress, but not like this. He was under duress in Kansas City. He was under duress somewhat against Indy, but he was able to navigate through that pressure for the most part. That's why he hasn't had any interceptions to this point. This was definitely his least performance of his career to this point. But again, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, but the pressure that the Raiders were able to apply to him in this game, hats off to the Raiders. Imaginary tap of the cap to the Raiders because they were able to force the issue, force him into some throws. And on this pick, he got hit as he was throwing the football, didn't get enough on it. And it was a great play by Nick Roach. Let's not take anything away from the Raiders here, okay? Great play by their front seven to get pressure. Great play by Nick Roach to pick it off. And Matt McGloin taking advantage. This is what the Raiders have been lacking. Taking advantage of other teams' mistakes. Don't turn this into a field goal. You don't win games in the National Football League. You know the motto. I don't have to say it, but I will anyway. Field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. We'll find that out later on in this football game. So, 14-0. Oakland Raiders. Woo-wee! Texans making me look really bad right now, but I didn't panic. My confidence never wavered because I didn't pick the Texans for no reason. I know that they're going to find a way to win this football game. Right? Right? It's the Raiders, right? Come on. With Matt McGloin, man. Stop it. Wow. All I can say about this play right here, wow. With all caps. W-O-W. Wow. Wowzers. What a play by Case Keenum to Garrett Graham for a 42-yard touchdown strike. Okay, let me break this one down. If you haven't seen it, you need to go check it out. I mean, there are a handful of quarterbacks that can do this. This is exactly why you can't take Case Keenum out of the game in Houston. Right here, okay? I tell you one thing, Matt Schaub isn't making this play. I guarantee it. All right? He's under pressure like he had been all first half. All right? And he's being chased by an Oakland Raiders defender. Let's just call it, and I don't know for sure. Let's just call it Lamar Houston. Okay? He scrambles out to his right. Out of the grasp of a Raiders defender. He's chasing him. He tries to dive at his ankles. Case outruns him, leaps over the tackle attempt, but he's running full speed, and the sideline is vastly approaching. But he's able to put the brakes on right before the out-of-bounds boundary. Stops, put the brakes on, has the presence of mind to keep his eyes down the field in the face of pressure. Guys are charging at him at this point. Mind you, he had to leave a Raiders defender in the dust and not step out of bounds. He keeps his balance, sets his feet, finds Garrett Graham streaking 42 yards down the field and hits him in stride for a touchdown. Are you kidding me? And you actually have the gumption to bench this man after that? Really? Look, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But that's one of the best plays you'll see from a quarterback in this season. That was phenomenal. That was all of Case Keenum's traits on one play being displayed for everybody to see. If you're not impressed with that, then you don't know what quarterbacking looks like. Good quarterbacking looks like in the National Football League. So after that, that gets the crowd energized. That gets the team pumped up. You take a lot of that momentum that the Raiders had wrestled away from you in this game. You take some of it back. Not all of it, because you're still down by a touchdown. But you take a good percentage of that back with a play like that. So what happens next? 80-yard punt return by Keyshawn Martin for a touchdown. Now it's 14-all. If you're the Texans, you smell blood in the water. Okay, now we got him. Dun, 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 dun. You see the Raiders swimming above the surface, and they have no idea that you're coming to bite a piece of their leg off. You're coming to take a chunk of their leg off. You smell blood in the water. It's 14-all. You got the momentum. You get Randy Bullock to tack on a 51-yard field goal. Hell, you should get 10 points for that because you're asking this guy a lot to make a 51-yarder. Hell, he can't even make a 38-yarder half the time. So to make it from 51, whoo, you got to feel like we're going to win this game. If Randy is knocking them down from 51, if Keyshawn Martin, who hasn't done much of anything on punt returns all season, is busting off 80-yarders, if Case Keenum is making plays like that, we got to win this football game. So you're up 17-14 at the half. You're feeling good about yourself. And then the second half happened. And then Gary Kubiak happened. And then Matt McGloin with a TD strike to Michael Rivera on a beautiful throw. Who in the holy Toledo is this, Batman? Who is this guy? Who is this masked man? You know who he is? If he keeps playing like this, I'm going to drop a nickname on him. Matt McGloin, the Redhead Assassin. That's the new nickname if he continues to play like this. That throw to Michael Rivera. To these eyes, beautiful sight. Okay, 70% of the quarterbacks in this league that are starters do not make that throw. Okay, let me explain to you why this was a beautiful throw. There's a defender planted right in front of Rivera as he's streaking down the middle of the field. Now, this play, this pass takes arc, takes touch, takes precision. Okay, a lot of guys can throw the football a mile, but if you ask them to lay the football over the middle of the field, over a defender, right into the waiting arms of their receiver, a lot of these guys can't do that consistently. What I saw from McGloin in this game was a guy that when he has time, and he had time in this game, and he steps up, he can actually throw the football. I saw some juice. I saw some heat, some steam coming off a couple of these passes. And this one required touch. It required finesse. And that's what I got. I got a pass right over the defender, right over the linebacker, right over the safety, right into the waiting arms of Michael Rivera. It was a gorgeous throw. Who in the holy Toledo is this, Batman? It's the Redhead Assassin, Matt McGloin. That man is on fire. 21-17, Raiders take the lead. Rashard Jennings, what is he doing? What is Rashard Jennings doing? Busting off 80-yard touchdown runs, running over safety. Boom! You know what this reminded me of? You ever watched In Living Color? And they got the two guys, and one of them is Tommy Davidson, the other is David Allen Greer. This might be a little bit too old for some of you young cats. You might not know anything about In Living Color, but it was Howard. The guy's name was Howard. And every time he would try to push off a little bit of his... These were two con men, by the way. So they would go out and they would try to sell you some of their damaged goods. A lot of it was crap. They try to sell it to you and they try to give you a business card. And he'd always say, I don't have a business card on me. Howard! And then he'd act like he was looking for a card. And bam! He just hit him with a card. He'd pull out a card like that. Bam! And they scared the bejesus out of the person that they were talking to. And that's what this hit reminded me of, because DJ Swearinger swore he was squaring up Rashard Jennings. What he failed to realize is that Rashard Jennings is 6'1", about 230 pounds of grown man. And Rashard decided to open up a can of you-know-what on DJ Swearinger in the home, man on man, mano y mano. And he said, DJ, bam, take this shoulder. Ran over, down the sideline. Rashard Jennings had a flashback to when he was in Jacksonville. It's something about these AFC South teams that Rashard just loves, because he went back to 2009 when he was running all over the Houston Texans in Jacksonville, and he ran down the sideline. I said, Somebody's going to catch him, right? Somebody's going to catch him, right? No, they're not. When did Rashad Jennings get jets? When did he have the ability to outrun a whole secondary? He did it on that play. Rumble, young man, rumble. He rumbled 80 yards. It's 28-17. All of the goodwill, all of the momentum you wrestled away from the Raiders at the end of the first half, taking the lead on 17 unanswered points, gone, vanished into thin air. Now they're up 11, 28-17, and you're struggling. And to make matters worse, Gary Kubiak decides it's a good idea to bench Case Keenum. Why? I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit later. To bring in Matt Shaw. Really? Anyway, Texans tack on 2 field goals with Schaub in the game, cut the lead to 28-23. Remember I said field goals don't win games, touchdowns do? There you have it right there. In its truest and simplest form. You get down the field twice, and you kick 2 field goals. If just one of these possessions ends in a touchdown, just one, not both of them, not asking for you to score touchdowns on both of those. If one of those field goal drives ends and results in a touchdown, guess what? On that final possession, when you had the football, driving down the field, guess what you would have only needed? I'll give you a second. You would have only needed a field goal. But you know why you needed a touchdown still? Because field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. And if you look at the scoreboard, guess what the Raiders are scoring? You'll never guess what the Raiders are scoring in this game. I'll give you a hint. Starts with touch, ends with down. Think you got it? They're scoring touchdowns. 4 of them. And you only have 2. And you settle for 3 field goals. So you are still down by 5 and need a touchdown. So let's go to the end of the game now. Texans drive down the field, put together a little drive. They get down to the 3. First and goal. They get down to the 1. Third and goal. Can't get it in the end zone. Raiders goal line stand, possibly, potentially saving their season. They buckle down. And look, this is an aggressive Raiders defense. When they play good teams, that aggressiveness, teams turn it against them, it usually goes in the favor of the opposing offense. But when you're not a team that's that good on offense, when you're struggling to find your identity, when you're struggling juggling in and out quarterbacks, guess what this Raiders defense will do to you? They'll get pressure on your quarterback, they'll force turnovers, and they'll stop you on the goal line, and you lose the football game. And that's what happened to the Texans as the Raiders clamped down when they had to have it at the end of the game to save their season. They get the goal line stop, win the football game 28-23. Huge win by the Raiders. They might have found themselves a quarterback. Look, I'm not jumping to conclusions here, okay? It is just one start for Matt McGloin, a.k.a., and this could potentially be the new nickname. I need to see more. I can't give him this. I can't christen him with this nickname until I see more. A.k.a., possibly, potentially, the Redhead Assassin. But let's talk about the Texans. Raiders get it done. I'll come back to them in a second and wrap this thing on up. But I need to talk to the Texans right now. Come on, Houston. We got to talk. Step in the office. Shut the door behind you. Okay? Let's start with Gary Kubiak. Okay? Because some things happened down the stretch. And I'm putting it all on the shoulders of Gary Kubiak. I don't care that you just had a stroke. I don't care. Mini stroke, major stroke. You're back. And you're making bad decisions. Why'd you bench Case Keenum? Okay, this is what I'm talking about. When I talked to you on Wednesday, I said, you're coming back and you're already making waves. The first thing you said after you said, I'm back, did you miss me? The first thing you said after that was, hey, I'm not committing to Case Keenum. Schaub is still my guy, essentially is what you said. This is my issue with that statement. This is my issue with you benching Case Keenum in this game. Who's the future of this football team? Is it Case Keenum? We're not sure. Right? We're not sure, right? I can assure you of this. It's not Matt Schaub. I can guarantee you that. Guarantee it. He's not the future. So let's find out if Case Keenum is. So benching him in the third quarter of a game that you're in, that you have a chance to win, isn't a smart move. It just isn't. And I think that the one and only DRE, who got upset, and this guy never, ever loses his cool, unless it's Cortland Finnegan and he's getting into a fight with him. Other than that, the one and only DRE keeps a level head. He gets into it with Matt Schaub for good reason, because he stinks. And he's probably the reason why you lost this game. And he's throwing the football into triple coverage in the end zone, forcing it like Matt Schaub does, which is the reason why he had 4 consecutive games with a pick-6 NFL record. Why? You know why? Because you want to lose your job. I'm telling you right now, the pink slip is being drafted right now. Your name is at the top of that pink slip. You're forcing it. Hey, I don't know what you think is going to happen. You're already ruffling feathers, okay? McNair and Smith are going to get rid of you. And I don't blame them, because this right here, inexcusable. Inexcusable. You're going off of past experiences. You're going off of what Matt Schaub has done for you in the past. You can't live in the past, brother. You can't live in the past. When you live in the past, everybody goes past you. The future and the present go right by you. You're still living in the past. Matt Schaub isn't the guy. Let it go. That's the only way you'll keep your job, is if Case Keenum is that guy. And you show them that, hey, I've got a rapport with him. He can work in my system. He's the guy of the future. You want to keep pushing Matt Schaub on people? You're alienating guys like the one and only DRE, who is your best player. And you're alienating the front office, your owner, your GM. Don't worry about it. You're going to get fired. And I don't feel bad, because you're doing dumb stuff like this. As for DRE, I'm not mad at you, homie. I know the frustration. You're 2-8 now after this loss to the Raiders. This one stung. You wanted this one. And they take your boy out. You had 0. Count them up. 0 touchdown receptions until they stuck in the young man, Case Keenum. They pull him out. And this guy's running around the field being a magician. Offensive line isn't protecting him. He's creating on the move something that Matt Schaub can't do. They put in Schaub, and he comes in and goes like 12 for 25, stinks it up, and you lose a football game. I understand your frustration, my man. And instead of this thing blowing up to a Dez Bryant epic level and proportion, he just walked off nice and calmly, like the one and only DRE can only do. So, not mad at you for that, man. I understand your pain. I know where you're coming from. Don't worry. The front office will handle it. You're good. You're good. Kubiak will be gone. So will Schaub. And we'll find somebody that can get you the football, my man. Whether it's Case Keenum or somebody else. You shouldn't be subjected to this late in your career. You thought you were starting to turn the corner and have a chance at actually winning the Super Bowl. You guys have regressed epic proportions. I mean, you guys have regressed to levels the likes of we've never seen before in this league. You and the Falcons. I don't know who's worse. I guess it would have to be Atlanta, because they actually were 1 quarter, 1 play, 1 game away from the Super Bowl. You, not so much, but at least you felt like you were doing some things to get you over the top. But I told you, you didn't do anything in the offseason to make you better. And that's the thing that scared me. You just drafted players and you added Ed Reed, and you felt like that was enough. You didn't do enough in this offseason. And Mr. Smith was over there grinning from ear to ear like he had done enough. And I said, hey, man, you didn't do enough. You didn't do enough. I said, Rick, you didn't do enough. And Rick said, I'm good. We good, man. I got this. I said, all right. Now you see what I was talking about. So, tough loss. You blew it for me. Now that's 2 losses in a row for my sole survivor pick. I'm disappointed. You're disappointed. We're all disappointed. Not the Raiders, though. Good win by the Oakland Raiders. Way to salvage your season with that goal line stop. That was huge. And maybe, just maybe, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, you might have found a quarterback in the process. I don't know. We'll see. Need to see more. But for that to be his first start, this isn't, the little sisters of the poor defense that he was facing. This Texans defense is pretty solid. And he went out and he carved them up. He played well. When the passes were there to be made them. I like what I see. I need to see more from Matt McGloin, a.k.a. potentially the Redhead Assassin. So, that's going to do it for this one. Big win for the Raiders. Tough loss for the Texans. That's 8 straight losses for the Houston Texans. Didn't see that one coming when this season started. So, that's going to do it for this breakdown of the Raiders at the Texans. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the L.A.B. Come back, join me. I've got plenty more to break down from week number 11 in the National Football League.